Special issues, Counselor Smith. Here. Counselor Gear. Here. Counselor Almond.
Here.
Counselor Sims.
Here.
And Counselor Andress.
Here.
You always have everybody.
Not everybody.
Quorum.
Amy sent out the minutes earlier, maybe that was last week, I can't even keep track. Can I get a motion to dispense with the reading and approve the minutes? All right, motion from Mr. Almond.
Second.
Second from Mr. Sims. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, the minutes are approved. Okay, old business. I see Mr. Maniscalco here. 05/05/22, a public hearing set for October 10th, 2022 at 6 p.m. for consideration of a request for vacation of the right-of-way at 16th Street adjacent to 2901 Central Avenue. Lee and Chelsea Maniscalco, Wyatt Pugh, Building Department. This has been on the agenda for a while, kind of going back and forth with the project that's happening on the adjacent property. Mr. Maniscalco, you want to? Oh, sorry. There you are.
Yeah.
You want to just remind everybody what we're talking about, because the public hearing is not going to be until the 10th.
The closest one probably is Homewood.
Would you rather wait till closer so that it's fresher in people's minds? Okay. Do we want to just remind everybody of what we're doing? Do we have that? Do we still have those pictures, Brian?
Which ones?
They were of the dentist office. You know, on Central.
No, I do, but I didn't know which one you were going to call for.
Yeah, I'm sorry, and I mean, I think, and even if it's just, I mean, if we have the picture that shows the side of the building, just so we can tell people what it is, what we're doing, because we are going to talk about it in more detail on the 3rd. Just to remind everybody what the area that we are referring to. I'm sorry, I'm testing your searching capabilities here, going back in time.
I've got the whole.
Yeah, that's about the same thing as our
Okay.
farm sites.
No, so I can't find the most recent one.
Okay, there we go. That's it. Okay, that's good enough. That gives us what we need to know. Lee, you want to tell them?
Sure. So we're asking the city for the opportunity to purchase this from the city in order to maintain our parking area on the side of the building. It would be from our attorneys would draw this up by putting a covenant on the deed to limit its use to parking, so that it will always only be used for parking no matter who owns it, because there was some concern that, you know, after we retire, close, or sell, you know, then what happens to it, but it would always be parking. And it would be written to allow for the city to revert. There would be a reversion back to the city if someone ever tried to do anything to other than that. So we're asking for this parking area to be vacated so that we can purchase it from the city. We would also give public access to it every day after 5 o'clock and all day Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I think that would be a good benefit for the surrounding businesses that may have peak hours kind of at other times, but then during the Monday through Thursday hours when the office is open, the patients will have a place to park.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Maniscalco? And we will, again, we're going to discuss this in more detail on the 3rd, the week before this is appearing in public hearing. So I don't want to send it out yet, so that we can really go through it in depth before that public hearing.
So you're carrying it over?
Yes, unless anybody have any questions.
No objection to carrying over?
Huh? No objection? Okay. All right, so we will carry 05/05/22 over, and we'll hear from the Maniscalcos on the 3rd. All right, the new business, 05/09/22, request for consideration to permit removal and replacement of 2 trees in the city right-of-way at 713 Morris Boulevard. Jeffrey Ketchum, Wyatt Pugh. I do not see Mr. Ketchum.
He'll be here today, yeah.
Okay,
I can show you what he wants.
okay.
That's
That one right there,
Yeah.
right?
The request is to remove and replace these 2 trees which are in the city right of way. Replacement of trees are to be approved by the city arborist.
Bram, if you looked at this, do you know anything about this?
I'm familiar with it, but I haven't seen, they clarified me if anything's jumped through. Are they replacing in the right of way or just replacing the trees
Somewhere else.
to remove the ones in the right of way?
I wish Jeffrey was here to answer that. My understanding was that.
And that may be just something that he needs to clarify.
Remove and replace 2 trees in the right of way. That was what I was.
That's what happened.
That's what's on the agenda.
Yeah, that's what the item says.
How is that, why? I'm just confused.
What?
How is that the right of way? It looks like it's so
Halfway
far
through the yard.
into the yard.
You know, I think that may be because this is a Google Maps Street View photo. Because if you look at it from different angles,
It doesn't look as
it
close.
doesn't look nearly as close.
Okay.
So,
Because we were like, that looks like it's
No,
right
it
up
looks
next to
far
the
away
house.
from the road, is what it looks like.
yeah, there you go.
It's
Yeah.
the actual front of the house, that you're looking for Cliff Place, actually, the front of the house is on Mars.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
the
The side-ish.
It's not
Still looks
standing up here looking at it this way,
Yeah.
but if you look at how big the right of way is.
Yeah. Can, was there a reason, what is the reason for wanting the trees removed?
The tree roots were damaged during construction. As you can see, they didn't protect the trees at all.
So it's kind of their fault.
Yeah, that's
kinda
what
what-
I'm saying.
It's kind of their fault.
The construction.
Then it's gonna be ours, because then they're gonna die, and then we're gonna take them down.
And we'll have to pay.
This is the
Yeah.
right of way.
Then I gotta pay to take them
On that
down.
note, the city's already removed
Their problem
one.
is our
There were
problem.
3 in total. One's already been removed at the city's cost.
Oh,
So
okay.
the other 2 were damaged, and I think there was just a discrepancy between the owner and the developer, or home builder, that those trees were private, public, which I think is a need for ensuring right-of-way clarity prior to construction.
Okay, so they damaged the trees, they're in our right of way, they're gonna pay to take them down and put some other trees up. We don't know if they're gonna be in the right of way or somewhere else on the property, but there's gonna be trees.
Counselor Smith, the property owner is here, behind you. And he's wanting to speak if that's
Okay,
helpful.
yes, absolutely.
Hey everybody, John Smolla.
If you don't mind, come in and,
Sure.
Melody would like you, if you don't mind signing in, just put your name and your address, that'd be awesome.
Right now before I talk? Okay.
Yeah, just so she has it for the record.
Oh, thank you. So nice.
So you know the item number.
Yes, sir. You don't have to do that.
John Smolla lived at this property. I believe the question was, will we replace 2 trees in the right of way? And it is, we already put 2 new trees in the house, or on our piece of property, not in the right of way, and willing to put 2 replacement trees in the right of way to replace those 2. So 4 new trees on the property.
Okay, and will you work with Brent to make sure that we put the appropriate trees so that we don't mess with sidewalks or whatever else we might mess with?
Sure.
I think there needs to be a clarification, because I believe 2 trees have already been planted in the right of way. And that may need to be verified.
Oh, I thought
don't
you said you
think that
planted
occurred.
2 on their property.
We did 2 on the property, and then they put 2,
they-
believe in the right of way based off the understanding. And I agree with the arborist too. On the start of the process where we filed the permit, or our builder filed the permit, 1 was determined working with the city that was in the city right of way, took that down. These 2, at the time, the plans showed in our right of way, and then probably about a month ago, we were told they were not in the right of way. So I
Okay.
think, yeah, that would be some great
Okay.
process improvement potentially.
All right.
To know that on the front end.
Okay, so we'll work on that side, but, okay. Does everybody understand? Does it, oh,
I do,
Mr.
but I
Joan?
have a question.
Hold on, Walter had a question, and then Melanie, you can ask yours.
Was your intention to keep these 2 trees when you started construction?
I mean, at the time, we took down the one that was in the right of way. In the city the city took down, yeah, I'm sorry.
The city,
And
the
so,
city took it down?
Yeah, we took it down.
the third, yeah, because that was clearly, I think we were told clearly in the right of way. And then these 2 were told were in, or we thought were in our right of way. So at that time, that was the thought, if we would have known, you know, different stuff at the time, we probably would have not kept all these trees and followed the tree ordinance in the city to put up whatever trees we needed to put up and follow all that. Does that make sense? Does that answer your
Yeah,
question?
but I mean, these were healthy trees, so prior to.
Well, when we
construction.
moved in 4 years ago, we had them massively trimmed, and we've had a lot of, and I'm not an arborist at all, I'm a chemical engineer, so I can't speak to that at all. But we've had a lot of issues trimming these trees that anybody around can attest to, that big tree limbs falling. You actually see damage up high on them also. I mean, again, no arborist, but I do think they are in decline for sure, in my opinion.
They are now.
All right, Melanie, you had a question?
Well, I guess I wonder if we gave any sort of instructions, you know, when the permit is pulled about care for the trees. Is anything like that provided to the homeowner or the developer? I just wonder about that.
That's a good question. We're always working to try to give more and more information to contractors as they come in, because we know they don't meet the ordinances. So sometimes it's difficult for us to know what their problems are gonna be with the ordinance, what are the problems we're gonna encounter.
So basically, we give them a tree ordinance, or we give them a link to the tree ordinance or something like that?
We do now,
Okay.
We give them a sort of a guide sheet.
Okay.
We give them a link to the ordinance, if not a copy of the ordinance, but I don't know on this particular
Okay.
job, if we gave them a cheat sheet or anything like that,
Okay.
you know?
Seems like we should know where the important trees are when the permit is given, so that we can tell them how to protect the tree. I mean, I'm sure that's probably supposed to happen in some way, but just, yes?
At the time, the builder kind of looked at it the same way you did. It's like, that's up close to the house, that's on private property. So his survey that he provided us, and he put in the trees, showed it on private property. Later, it came up that no, those trees are not on private property. If we had known that in the get-go, we were basing that on the information he gave us, we would have said, all right, you've got to protect those trees during your construction, they're city trees. So, had we known that, with his survey, it had been right where he placed his trees, we would have told him that.
You're talking about the new, when he showed you where his trees were on
Yeah,
his property?
if he came to us with a survey and said, these trees are on the city right of way, we would have said, whoa, you gotta protect them during your construction. You gotta fence it off, you can't put dirt around it, you can't.
But even if they were in his yard, couldn't we have said that, or wouldn't we have said that?
We would have brought it to his attention. If
Okay.
you're wanting to, if those were in his yard, and he was wanting to use those for credits
Okay.
toward his trees, he would still have to protect them.
Okay. Then my next question is, do we have a policy about reviewing whether or not we want to replace trees in the right of way? Because it seems like there might be instances where we wouldn't want to put back trees in the right of way. And apparently you've already planted 2 trees in the right of way?
No, on their property.
Well,
There's 2 in the
No,
right of way.
there's- yeah,
Based
there's-
off my layman's understanding of determined right of way, there are 2 clearly, I would say, on our property and 2 in the right of way.
that you recently planted?
Mhm.
Now, to answer your question, Bram can answer on that better than I can, but typically when someone wants to plant any tree in the right of way, our arborist ought to sign off on it as far as the tree, the species, and the location.
Okay.
So you don't want to plant it right up against the sidewalk, right up against the storm drain,
Yeah.
and you run under the power line.
And I mean,
And if it can't go there, okay, if it can't go, if it's not advisable to put it on the right of way in front of that house, then there's an option for where we can have it planted somewhere else in the city.
Okay, so they get credit for planting trees in the city's right of way?
No.
Okay,
They're
okay.
not getting credit. They're-
Okay.
They're having to replace the ones that were damaged and had to come out.
Okay, well, are there some times when we don't want those trees replaced? Okay, and who makes that? I would think that that would be an important thing to do, is to not put trees back in the right of way
That would be-
unless,
That would be something the arborist would speak
Yes.
to.
okay.
In
Well,
conjunction with
important-
Berkeley.
Be brought to my attention.
It's an important thing from a main.
I think it's gotta come, we both gotta look at that.
Yeah.
I'm the one that's gotta, he ain't handling it or taking care of it, he's just saying, yeah, it's good to plant there. Well, he's not the one that's going to maintain it and all that stuff.
Right.
So, my thing is, if it comes the way we've done it in the past is once Scott or White of them have looked at it, then we sit down and we discuss if that's a good place to put it or not. Is the way it's been. I was unaware that they had planted 2 more back in the right of way.
Andy?
Who's next?
Andy?
To your question about do we let these builders know up front, about 6 months ago, we started doing a pre-permit best management practices inspection that has to be passed before we issue the building permit. And part of that is tree protection. That's one of the things on the checklist.
So you go to the builder, survey the property.
So the builder has a checklist of all the things we expect to see on the site before we'll issue the permit.
Okay.
And then they'll call for an inspection. One of the things that there's on the checklist is tree protection.
Okay.
So now, when we go out to a job and there's no tree protection, we can't even issue the permit until that's taken care of.
All right, Andy now.
Yes. So I think we're drifting from the premise of the agenda item here. I do think this is a good application of right-of-way trees because we do have no sidewalk and we have lots of right-of-way between the property line and the curb. So I think that is a good spot, and I do applaud the homeowner for going to the extent to place those trees. My only comment I was going to ask, I think we just need to consider whether we want to let the builder bear the cost of this take down a replacement, or if we want to deny this and we have to do it ourselves later on. I think that's a pretty simple answer.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
Judging by the budget of tree
Yeah.
taking down. Yes.
Yes, so I agree with that. So the first thing is, I'm in favor of permitting the removal. And so my follow-up question then, with the 2 trees that have been placed in the right-of-way, is, Graham, are the locations in Berkeley, do y'all know what the locations are to know if they're acceptable as, approved locations?
I haven't looked at it.
What
I
I've
don't
seen,
know.
one is right over a drain inlet that I do have concerns about being a maintenance issue and concerning, so possibly while it's still freshly planted, to have it moved. Is now, probably a better time than waiting.
I'll go by tomorrow. But, like Graham, as long as it's not affecting sidewalk, curbing, or storm drain.
That's my concern.
Because there are no sidewalks right over there on Morris or on Cliff.
They're not planted along.
Yeah.
They're not planted.
Right. They're not on the Morris side. They're going to be, yeah.
So normally Mr. Kendrick gets, gives an agreement. It includes an attachment that shows where the trees are to be removed and where the trees are to be replaced. And so we would have that in this instance as well. And possibly if those locations vary from the existing locations, then we just have to designate that on the agreement. Is that right, for work in the right of way?
Yeah, we attach it, usually we attach a survey or something that locates the tree.
Okay. So I guess between now and, if we move this out of committee, just between now and council, we need to make sure that we have those approved locations identified.
Okay.
Is it something that the council would look at as far as if one day you decided to bring sidewalks along that area and we did these in the right of way? Just something to think about.
Where is that
I'm
on
not telling
the-
you That's gonna happen, I'm just saying.
I don't know, because that's the Cliff Road side, and
Yeah, I mean, and again, I'm
it's,
just-
I don't know that we have any
I think-
plans to put sidewalks there.
You would be
I
on
mean,
the other
Morrison.
side if you were going to go up because it's flat.
It's
on the other
flat,
side.
yeah,
This
yeah.
side you have to retain it.
Yeah, have to put a retaining wall. Yeah, no, the other side would be the more appropriate side regardless.
Located across the street.
Yeah, okay, all right, okay, a lot of discussion.
Do we make a motion to send out without recommendation to any public hearing?
I don't think there is, this isn't a public hearing.
We didn't set a public hearing.
I don't think we have to set a public hearing.
No, you're right, I was looking at the wrong item.
No, we don't have to set a public hearing. So we just need a motion.
Oh,
Make a motion to permit removal of the trees and replace them with 2 others.
Okay, and,
Subject to slate providing me with a diagram.
yes, will they make that part of your
Yes.
motion? Okay, yes.
John is probably wondering what he's gotta do.
Just basically
Get y'all a
show us where they're gonna go.
Yeah.
So that Mike can have that and attach it to the resolution so that if we see that there is a somewhere else.
Mr. Kendrick.
Yes, indeed.
Was that gear on the first or?
Yes, that was, Ms. Gear made the motion.
And
Second.
And-
is that an indemnification agreement also?
Yes, also there will need to be an indemnification agreement as well.
Send out every one of them.
Yeah, yeah. And then Ms. Andrews seconded that, and all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, 5-0, that passes, so, approval, but if you can give that to Mr. Kendrick's contact information. Yeah, just send it to him.
Just for the drawing.
Yeah, that shows where the trees are gonna go, and that way, bring them, we can take a look at it, if it looks like something needs to go somewhere else, so.
I just heard indemnification.
And that is basically just everybody who does anything in the right of way has to sign an indemnification agreement, because if the city ever came in and said, guess what, we're getting ready to put sidewalks through here, it's our land, we're doing it, it just, sign something that says you're on that. All right, all good? Okay, thank you. Okay, 09/09/22, public hearing set for October 10th, 2022 at 6 PM for consideration of a front yard fence variance at 1604 Roseland Drive. Debbie Freeman, Wyatt Pugh. We were gonna delay this because the public hearing's not until the 10th. We were gonna wait and hear about this on the 3rd. But Mr. Pugh had a call from the homeowners today saying that they are getting ready to embark on a renovation project, with Twin for the house, and that Twin was going to be taking the fence down. The problem being is that they were not planning on starting that project for 6 months, and that ain't gonna work. The public hearing has already been. Okay. Hey, sorry, that ain't gonna work.
Well, let me say this, I had an initial meeting with him today, and I was not here for this, and I had.
You're just like, wait.
way
down.
contract.
Okay, yeah, you haven't even started.
I haven't given them a budget.
Okay.
Take that
Don't
down.
worry about you, you just, don't worry about
You got
that.
the job, you can name the project.
Right.
That's
And if
nice
you need me to
guy.
take out that fence, Laura,
Take that fence down.
there'll be a premium on that.
What's his name between?
David.
No, I'm William.
William, dang it. Oh, yeah.
Get your right twin.
What's your last name?
Siegel. Siegel.
S-E-I?
S-I-E. S-I-E. G-E-L. Okay.
I should've let you sign in. I just.
Okay, so anyway, as you heard, they're not really to the point where they're gonna be, but basically, Mr. Pugh is gonna communicate, because we've already set the public hearing, so the public hearing has to happen. They have withdrawn their request for the variance, but when Scott sends out a letter about these things, he basically says you either have 60 days to rid yourself of the violation or file for a variance, which they filed for a variance, but now they've withdrawn the variance, and the 30 days, it's not 60 days, it's 30 days, has passed, so now it's like, take it down. So they have to come for the public hearing. Essentially, what we're gonna say is you could, but we have she has to show it for the public hearing unless the fence has been removed.
Fence is down, or she needs to show up for public hearing.
Yes, so.
So the fence is already up, I missed that.
The fence was up because of previous owner. It was supposed to be taken down when they moved, and it wasn't.
Oh, is that the one we've already given a variance to?
Oh, yes.
Yes, indeed, but there was contingent on it being removed when the people sold the house, and they sold the house and didn't say a word. And
They didn't tell them?
No, they did not tell the new owners.
Counselor Smith,
Yes.
so it sounds like normally we would send this out for the public hearing at this point now, but does the homeowner understand what's going on to where we can't send it out, or should we wait till the 3rd?
Well, no, I mean, we can probably wait until the 3rd to send it out and just carry it over in here, because at sometime between now and then, Wyatt will have some sort of discussion with them.
Okay.
I mean, it's up to y'all whether
Yeah.
you want to do it now or later, unless you want her to come to committee.
I mean, that's true,
Then you
'cause I
can
mean-
Send it out now, she's in the public hearing, either the fence is gonna be down or we're gonna.
Have the
she
public
needs to
hearing, and we're gonna
be
tell her
there
to
for
take the fence
public
down.
hearing. So, I think the committee's work is done
Okay.
based on her request, so it's
So
just
we can
whether
send
you
it
wanna
out.
send it out this week or on the 3rd.
Because I don't think she's planning on coming to a committee meeting, so. we
Well,
can-
I'll make a motion to send it out without recommendation.
Okay, all right. Motion for Ms. Andrus. Can I get a second? Second for Mr. Sims. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, so.
Who was
Wyatt,
the
if you
second?
could-
I'm sorry.
It was
I
Mr.
was.
Sims. I'm sorry, I should have told you that. If you can have a conversation and just tell her it's already gone, we've already sent it out for council, and unless that fence is down by the 10th, we expect to see her at the
So
public
when you
hearing.
get that fence down, get that pricing in there quick.
Okay, that's funny. All right, 10:09:22, public hearing set for October 10th, 2022 at 6 p.m. for consideration of a sign variance at 1919 28th Avenue South, Suite 141, Wyatt Pugh. And I believe we are holding this one over until, are they here?
No, they're not here.
Okay.
They will be here on the 3rd.
Yes, right, yes, we discussed this before, so we will hold that one until the 3rd, since the public hearing is not set until the 10th, so. We're gonna carry that one over without, we're gonna carry that one over without, whatever. Okay, I was wondering, do we still need to keep the VIA item on our table?
I personally,
I don't
from my
think-
understanding, BJCTA is working through microtransit, so it's kind of
Yeah.
gonna be embedded within
Whatever they do.
what they do versus something the city directly does.
Yes.
We've shared that data and follow up with them. so,
Yeah, maybe take it.
I'll move to take 231020 off the table.
All right, okay, motion from Ms. Andrews, second from Mr. Allen to take that item off the table. Can I get a motion to drop it? Oh, I'm sorry, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, sorry, okay, so it's off the table. Can I
So
get-
move to drop.
All right, motion
Second.
for Mr. Allemon, second for Ms. Andrus, all in favor to drop 231020, say aye.
Aye.
5-0, and that item is dropped. All right, thank you, and we are adjourned.